So the first question is just a one marker, so it's a multiple choice. Which one of the following correctly states the role of ligaments? So hopefully you've answered from what we've learned, ligaments join bone to bone. So the answer is going to be A. The answer B there, join muscle to bone, hopefully we also know, as we said, that is the tendon. Tendons join muscle to bone. Next question. So this really is, it's a 6-mark answer, but it's 6 1-markers. So if you know your muscles, then this should be a really easy 6 marks for you. So the first part is just identifying the muscles A, B and C. So it's just knowing it based on the diagram we looked at earlier. So A, hopefully we pick up, that's the bicep. B is the hamstring and C is the gastrocnemius. And the second column of the table asks about the role of the muscle. Now it is a bit of a funny way of putting it, but hopefully you've worked out by role of the muscle, it means the muscle action. So what action does that muscle provide? So A, hopefully you can see in the diagram, it's the bicep. The action is flexion. However, you need to make sure that you put flexion at the elbow joint. So always refer to the joint that it's taking place at to make sure that you get the mark. So B, we've already said it's the hamstring. It's also showing flexion at the knee joint. So make sure you put at the knee joint. The final one, C, as we said, is showing the gastrocnemius, and the role of the muscle here is plantar flexion at the ankle joint. The next question is on muscle fiber types used in the steeplechase, the 3,000 meter steeplechase. So the question is, examine how 2 different muscle fiber types are used by the athletes in figure 3 during the different parts of the race. And as we can see, the different parts of the race are running 3,000 meters and jumping the hurdles. Now we can split this into 2 3 markers. So the first 3 marks is going to concentrate on running the 3,000 meters. Hopefully we've all realised that that's quite a long way to run, 3,000 meters. Therefore the first mark you're going to get is for saying that slow twitch type 1 muscle fibers are required during the running stage of the race. For the second mark, we need to make some sort of explanation as to why. So something along the lines of slow twitch muscle fibers are resistant to fatigue. So as simple as that, you're going to be getting your second mark. The third and final mark for that part of the question needs to link to the performance of the runner. So something along the lines of this type 1 muscle fiber will allow the athlete to complete the race without tiring or slowing down. Second part is on jumping hurdles. This is a little bit trickier, this part of the question, but hopefully we've realised for that first mark, the answer is going to be that during, whilst jumping hurdles, type 2X fast twitch muscle fibers are required. The second mark, again, needs to explain why, and the answer is that explosive power is required by the athletes in order to gain enough height to get over the hurdle. Again, for that third and final mark for that part of the question needs to link to the performance, the overall performance in the race. So we could say here that jumping over the hurdles effectively and with enough power will prevent the runner from slowing down, enabling them therefore to get a better time during the race. The final question is about muscle actions in the sport of long jump. So the question is, examine the antagonistic muscle action taking place at the elbow and the hip in figure 2 that allows the long jumper to achieve this position. So again, this 6-mark question can be split into 2 banks of 3 marks, and it's done it for us there in the answer. So the first part is about the elbow, and we should be thinking, what can I tell the examiner about the muscle action of the elbow? So how are you going to get that knowledge across? For mark number 1, you need to be saying that extension is happening at the elbow joint. That's going to be mark number 1. For the next 2 marks, we need to think about what is contracting, what is relaxing. If you've said something along the lines of the agonist muscle or the muscle contracting is the tricep muscle, then that's going to be a mark. And if you've said the antagonist or the muscle relaxing is the bicep, that's going to be your 3rd mark. In terms of the hip, maybe a little bit more difficult, but hopefully we've noticed that the action from the hip is flexion. So flexion has occurred at the hip joint. This is because, as we talked about earlier, the legs and the stomach are getting closer together, so the angle is narrowed. Again, for the second 2 marks, you need to talk about what is contracting, what is relaxing. In this image, causing that flexion at the hip joint, so the muscle contracting is the hip flexors and the muscle relaxing are the gluteals. So that is how you get those final marks.